Shele Covlin was a successful financial advisor living on Manhattan's Upper West Side. At 47, she had built an impressive career at UBS and was the devoted mother of 2 children, Anna and Miles. She was also in the middle of divorcing her husband, Rod Covlin, a former stockbroker turned backgammon player who had moved into a separate apartment across the hall after years of mounting marital conflict. Shele had been growing increasingly fearful of Rod. She confided in friends and family that he had become controlling, emotionally abusive, and had threatened to ruin her financially. She also suspected that Rod was manipulating their daughter and feared he might try to gain full custody of both children. Just days before her death, Shele told her rabbi and sister that she planned to change her will to exclude Rod entirely and revoke any rights he had to her estate. On New Year's Eve 2009, Shele was found dead in her bathtub by her 9-year-old daughter. Rod, who lived across the hallway, was the next person on the scene. He told police that Shele had likely slipped and hit her head. The death was initially ruled accidental. No autopsy was performed because Shele was an Orthodox Jew and her family, following religious custom, initially opposed one. However, within weeks, Shele's family grew suspicious. They pushed for an exhumation. In 2010, a medical examiner concluded that Shele had died from manual strangulation. Her death was officially reclassified as a homicide. Investigators began to focus on Rod. He had much to gain from Shele's death. She had a multi-million-dollar estate, and without a finalized divorce or an updated will, Rod would inherit a large portion. He also faced losing custody of the children and his financial support once the divorce was finalized. Just one day before Shele died, she had made an appointment with her attorney to remove Rod as her beneficiary and executor. The case, however, lacked hard physical evidence. There were no signs of forced entry and no surveillance footage tying Rod directly to the crime. For years, the case remained unsolved. Rod's behavior in the aftermath only deepened suspicion. He moved quickly to take control of Shele's finances and attempted to sue for control of her estate. He also tried to influence his daughter, then a child, into making statements that could suggest Shele had harmed herself. In one of the more disturbing developments, Rod allegedly began plotting more crimes to clear his name. By 2013, investigators had gathered enough circumstantial evidence and testimony to get a clearer picture of Rod's disturbing efforts to avoid justice. He reportedly tried to frame his own daughter for the murder by writing fake confessions in her name on social media. He also made plans to kidnap her, send her to Mexico, and force her to create a false confession clearing him of the crime. He even discussed murdering one of Shele's relatives and hiring someone to kill his daughter's boyfriend. In 2015, Rod Covlin was arrested and charged with the murder of Shele Covlin. Prosecutors argued that he entered her apartment the night of December 30, 2009, strangled her in the bathroom, and staged her death to look like an accident. They presented a damning portrait of a man so desperate to maintain control and access to money that he killed the mother of his children. The trial began in early 2019. Rod maintained his innocence, but the jury heard extensive testimony about his manipulative and violent tendencies. The evidence, though circumstantial, painted a clear picture of premeditated murder. In March 2019, Rod Covlin was found guilty of second-degree murder. The judge sentenced him to 25 years to life in prison.